I have around 3 pounds of this pork shoulder. The main meat portion of this banh mi I want to be this really tender pork that's heavily seasoned with all these like Asian ingredients and also sweet and sticky. To do that, I'm gonna put this in the pan on low for like 6 hours. Wow, I didn't know this was 2 pieces actually, usually just 1. Alright. So this pan's on low, I'm gonna put a lid on it. Once everything's in, we're gonna zest in 2 cloves of garlic. I'm gonna go in with the rest of my oyster sauce. I use oyster sauce for all of my stir fries, so I'm running a little bit low because I use it pretty often, but I definitely want this in my pork. Okay, low sodium soy. This pork is gonna render down over a long period of time, and then at the end, when the pork is just sitting in its own fat, we're going to kind of fry it in its own fat to make it a little bit crisp, but also still sticky and sweet and tender. So this was a new bottle of soy. You can see I used that much. I have Chinese 5-spice. And then I have some sambal. I'm going to use some of this later, but I want this to provide a little bit of spice. We're going to use this in our mayo too. I think that's good. Some black pepper, a little bit more salt actually. And then we haven't added anything sweet yet. I was thinking about adding brown sugar to this, but I thought why not use some actual barbecue sauce. It's smoky. This one's sweet and a little bit spicy, so I don't want it to taste like barbecue-y, but I just want the sweet component and the smoky component from it. So I think that's just enough, you know. I'm gonna add some water just to help it reduce down. The water will eventually evaporate, so that's fine. Alright, the lid's going on and then 6 hours. Okay, so the pork shoulder has been going for about 5 or 6 hours. I already popped the top once. It's very tender. I think we're gonna shred it and then crank up the heat to reduce it down and kind of fry it up, kind of like carnitas. So you can see it's really tender, which this will be great in the banh mi. And then a lot of the sauce will stick to it once it reduces down and becomes more of a glaze. And it's going to be super flavorful on our banh mi. Okay, the liquid in this has reduced significantly, and it's looking really good. The color on the pork's a lot darker now. And I've tasted a little bit of it. It's really good. The sauce is great. We're going to make a spicy mayo. Banh mi always has maybe like a sriracha mayo or even just regular mayo. Okay, and then a little bit of sambal. I'm just gonna pour it in. It's pretty loose. It's a chili paste. It should give us a good red color. A little bit of additional salt. Just because the sambal doesn't have much salt in it, or yeah, just barely any. Alright, this will go on the top and bottom bun of our banh mi. Okay, I got my baguette roll. I got it out of the oven. I baked it in the oven a bit just to freshen it up. I'm actually going to cut the ends off just to make it a little bit more manageable size. And I will use the ends. Alright, I'm going to scoop out a little bit of the bread, I think. Okay, so the first layer is going to be this mayo with the sambal. I tasted it and it is a really nice level of spice. I'm really happy with it. I'm not going to have any pâté in this, but I think the pork will have enough fat anyways. The pâté, I think, usually adds fat, you know. Pâté's made out of liver, I do believe. So it adds like fattiness to the sandwich, but our pulled pork, our Asian inspired pulled pork, is plenty fatty. Now for that pork, I tasted this pork as well. It's fantastic. I recommend making like a Asian pulled pork of some kind sometime, because it's just a great flavor you get. It doesn't even have to be made exactly the way I made it. Unfortunately, my bread kind of split there. I wanted this all to be connected. And then these are pickled red onions with carrots. I've made pickled red onions before. I'll put a link down below. These have been in the fridge for maybe 2 or 3 days. Usually it's pickled carrot with daikon radish, but I never really have daikon, so I thought red onions would be a cool little touch. It's not authentic, but that's okay. And then I have some chopped cilantro. Good portion of the cilantro. That's one of my favorite flavors in a banh mi.
Usually in Vietnam, I think they use Maggi seasoning, but I think the sauce or the glaze from
The pork, it has enough seasoning the way it is. How's that look? I'm really excited about how this looks. Alright, so pork banh mi. We're about to take a test. It's got the Asian style pulled pork, pickled red onions with carrots, cilantro, the spicy mayo. Alright, here we go. Okay, this is awesome. Everything balances so well. It always does in a banh mi, but this is just super good. Okay, so it's actually the next day. I'm making a smaller leftover sandwich, and I realized I forgot the jalapeno. I meant to add this yesterday. Peace.